It is Monday. It's the 26th of March. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is CNN News Center live from Hong Kong, making news today. Hello. Cyprus has been saved from financial collapse and a near certain Eurozone exit, but the island nation's banking sector and its biggest savers are going to pay the price. The Eurogroup thrashed out a deal late Sunday that clears the way for a $13 billion bailout. It protects those with less than $130,000 in the bank, but wealthier Cypriots and foreign account holders at two leading banks must cough up a chunk of their savings. Well, and one of those lenders, Popular Bank, is being broken up immediately. A deal last week that would have proven costly for all account holders was rejected by the Greek Cypriot Parliament. CNN's Jim Bolton joins us now live from Nicosia. Jim.
Yes, Monita, you know, the finance minister said, look, Cyprus didn't win the battle. But
the United States and South Korea have agreed a new military pact for dealing with North Korean provocation. The so-called Combined Counter-Provocation Plan has been in the works since 2010, but its signing coincides with renewed aggression from Pyongyang. The pact takes effect immediately. The body of Russian tycoon Boris Berezovsky is about to undergo an autopsy after being removed from his London area mansion. Police investigators are threatening the exiled oligarch's death, or treating, I should say, his death as unexplained, but say that so far there is no evidence of third-party involvement. A spokesman for the Syrian rebels says one of its leaders was wounded when an explosive went off near his car. It happened while Riyad al-Assad was visiting the Deir ez-Zor province on Monday. These unconfirmed images posted on YouTube reportedly show the aftermath of the blast. Rebels have seized Bangui, the capital of the Central African Republic. The violence has prompted President Francois Bozize to skip the country. Government sources say he's crossed into the Democratic Republic of Congo. End of the day, Italy's Supreme Court is expected to announce what could be a life-changing decision. The legal future of American student Amanda Knox hangs in the balance. The High Court will decide whether to approve prosecutors' calls to retry her for the 2007 murder of her roommate. Taking a short break here on CNN News Center. Much more still to come, including the new Chinese president is in Tanzania for trade talks, but will one country benefit more from a partnership? We'll bring you the details next. Watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong, I'm Monita Rajpal. China's new president, Xi Jinping, is in Tanzania on the first leg of an African tour. His arrival follows a trip to Russia, where he's been working to build closer economic ties. Errol Barnett joins us now from Johannesburg, South Africa. And Errol, a lot of people are wondering if this is a one-sided relationship.
That is a lot of what the concerns have been, Monita, but you mentioned there a verge of a new friendship.
Thank you for that. Errol Barnett reporting to us there from Johannesburg, South Africa. Despite threats of arrest and assassination, Pakistan's former president has returned to his homeland. As promised, Pervez Musharraf arrived in Karachi on Sunday, nearly 5 years after his resignation and self-imposed exile. Thank you for that. Sana Mohsen there reporting to us from Karachi. Switching gears now, it seems that only Mother Nature stands between Tiger Woods and the world #1 ranking. Amanda Davis joins us from London with more on that. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Monita. Yep, his attempt to return to the top of the rankings resumes later on Monday after the final round of the Arnold Palmer Invitational in Orlando. It was a 4-game road trip for Miami, starting in Orlando. When will it ever end, Monita?
Oh, my goodness, that is the eternal question, isn't it?
It's not that bad.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Amanda. Keep the faith. Amanda Davis there in London. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Coming up next, they keep many Hong Kong homes running, but they're not entitled to the same rights as other foreign workers. We'll talk to a human rights lawyer about a new ruling affecting domestic workers here in Hong Kong. watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. They cook in Hong Kong, they clean in Hong Kong, and take care of children in Hong Kong. But that doesn't mean they can settle in Hong Kong and enjoy the same rights as other foreigners. That was the conclusion of Hong Kong's top court as it upheld a rule denying domestic workers permanent resident status after 7 years. On Evangeline Benay Vallejos, a maid from the Philippines who has worked in Hong Kong for more than 17 years. She argued that denying her the same rights as other foreigners is unconstitutional. Mark Daly is her lawyer, and he joins us now. Mr. Daly, thank you very much for being with us. The courts obviously disagree with your client, but they are saying that domestic workers are different from foreign workers. How?
Well, that's for them to justify. I've been doing human rights cases in Hong Kong for over 15 years.
So basically, what are you saying, that this is not necessarily rule of law, but more a political decision?
I think you can't escape the fact that might be in some of the judges' minds at all.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Mr. Daly, but some people are arguing that this is already an overflowing city with some 7.58 million people, that there's not the infrastructure here enough to allow more and more people to become permanent residents. What do you say to that argument?
Well, I see you've got the numbers up there, 300,000 foreign maids. Test cases were exceptional in that there would be very few who would even qualify, even if they were allowed to qualify. And nobody picked that up. It was just doomsday scenario stuff because that's just what they wanted, and they got the result that they wanted.
Well, we appreciate you coming here on CNN to talk to us about this and to give us your perspective on this story as well. Mark Daly, appreciate your time. Heavy snow and blowing winds continue to disrupt travel in Eastern Europe and the United States. Meteorologist Samantha Moore is at the World Weather Center with more on that. Hi, Samantha.
Hi there. Boy, impressive pictures coming out of Eastern Europe into Russia. In fact, let's take a look at some photos coming out of Moscow. You can see in red square over this weekend, Monita.
Yeah, certainly doesn't feel like spring there, not in the slightest. Samantha, thank you very much for that. Sure. You are watching CNN News Center. I'm Monita Rajpal, live at CNN Hong Kong. Thank you for joining us. I'll update you the news headlines in just a couple of minutes.